Digital
Tools.
In this video I'm going to show you how to sync your audio from Traktor to a video clip and to control that video clip through Traktor itself, meaning that you can scratch, you can use hot cues and you can use loops in Traktor to control the video clip. First, obviously we need a video clip, but also we need to export that video clip to an audio file as well. So you end up with two files, an audio file and a video file that are both exactly the same length. And this is really important, they do have to be exactly the same length or this won't work. So I've used a program called Video Converter by iSkysoft, which will allow you to export any video clip into various different formats, including audio. So here I have my clip of my friend Oliver, which I've imported the video file into Resolume Avenue 4. I'm using the demo version here, and I've got the audio file that matches the clip, which I've imported into Traktor. Okay, first we need to set Traktor up. So if you go into Preferences and Controller Manager, then click on Add, select Generic MIDI. For the import, select None, and for the output, select Traktor Virtual Output. Now this is on the Mac only. If you're on a PC, you'll need to use some internal MIDI routing software. These are free and there's a couple of programs that will do this. You could use Loop B1 or you could use MIDI Yoke. There are links to both of these in the description. Next, click on Add Out and Transport and select Seek Position. In this case we're selecting deck A, but you can use any deck here, and this needs to be mapped to channel 16 CC127. I've tried to use one here that isn't very commonly used. Okay, that's it in the Traktor setup. Basically what we're doing now is telling Traktor to output a MIDI value based on whereabouts in the track we are at any one time. So at the very beginning we'll have a value of 0, and at the very end we'll have a value of 127. What we need to do now is to tell Resolume to listen to these messages and do the same thing with the playhead here. So that the playhead corresponds exactly with the playhead in Traktor. So if we go into Preferences in Resolume Avenue, and if you go into MIDI and select Traktor Virtual Output, put a tick there on the MIDI inputs. Now if you're using Windows, you obviously wouldn't have the Traktor Virtual Output here, but you'd have the name of the MIDI internal routing device that you're using. So you'd select Loop B here, or you'd select MIDI Yoke, depending on which you'd installed. Just make sure that you're doing it through the same channel. Okay, the next thing we need to do in Resolume Avenue is to go into Mapping and edit MIDI map. Select the playhead here, and assuming everything's set up correctly, when you press play in Traktor,
golden rule number 1,
it's picking up MIDI channel 16 and the CC number 127, and the values correspond now to the playhead in Resolume. Okay, so when we come out of the mapping section here, you find that
golden rule
the two
number 1,
coincide.
always,
You'll notice though
but always,
that the video is
look
slightly
at the
jerky.
camera and don't keep.
The reason for this is because we've only got a limited set of numbers that we can output in MIDI, so we can only output between 0 and 127. For any clips that are longer than a few seconds, it means that the clip is always subdivided into 128 equal parts. So if it's a longish clip, there'll be a jump between, say, the 1 and the 2, then the 2 and the 3. With short clips this doesn't really matter and you can't really notice, but anything longer than, say, 20 seconds and you're noticing some jerkiness in the video here. So what we're going to do is to use Resolume Avenue's OSC capabilities rather than MIDI. Now with OSC you can subdivide that into, say, around 10,000 parts, whereas MIDI you can only subdivide into 128. So we're getting a lot more control. The problem with Traktor is that you can only output in MIDI. So we need some way of converting the MIDI message to an OSC message. So what I've done is created some software in Max MSP that allows you to convert these MIDI signals to OSC signals. What we need to do first is just to set up Resolume Avenue to accept OSC messages. So if you go into Preferences, if we turn the MIDI input off, go into OSC, make sure the OSC input is ticked, that the incoming port is set to the default of 7000, and that you have the bundles ticked as well. So if we play the clip again,
Golden rule number 1.
you'll still see that it's quite jerky, and this is because the value here, I'll just play this clip again,
Always, but always look at
isn't
the
moving
camera
too smoothly.
and don't keep looking away from the camera.
So if we increase the
or
smooth
swinging your
time,
eyes around like a mad person, like I do. all
you'll see that the
time.
video smoothed out a little,
Then you
and the
just
numbers
look
here
crazy.
smooth out a little as well.
But of course I am crazy.
The problem that you have though is there's a bit of lag, there's a bit of latency. So what we need to do is just to nudge the video forward a little just to compensate for that. So if we use the nudge feature and we play the track again,
Golden rule number 1. Always,
we're pretty much there with the sync,
always look.
which means now that you can control Traktor through whatever it is you normally use to control it, whether that's through Traktor Scratch, using vinyl, or using a MIDI controller. Here I'm using my VCI 100, and we're able to cycle through the video and kind of scratch it as well, and it still stays pretty much in sync. This also means you can use hot cues,
Rule number 1.
so
Golden rule, golden rule, golden rule, golden rule, golden rule number 1. Look at the camera, look at the camera, look at the camera. Crazy, 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 crazy. Swiveling your eyes, swiveling your eyes, swiveling your eyes around like a mad person, like I do all the time.
okay, that's pretty much it. If you're using clips that are longer than say 50-60 seconds, this isn't going to work too well. So if you're using the OSC method, you're still limited with the length of clip that you can use. Also, I don't really know about the reliability of this. I mean, it's kind of a workaround, and it's a cheat really, if you will. And Traktor isn't really designed to do this kind of thing. But for now, this is basically just to show you how you can do it. Okay, I hope that was of some use. If you have any questions, please contact me through the website, digitaldjtools.net, and I'll catch you next time.
Tools.